right, good afternoon everyone. We are going to go ahead and start talking about the solving linear equations. So all of you should have downloaded your follow along notes that we'll be using. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do with you is fill out these definitions. So the first word we have here showing is equation. And an equation is simply defined as a mathematical sentence that contains an equal sign. So mathematical sentence with an equal sign, which shows that two expressions are equal. Okay? A solution is our next word, and that is going to be when we figure out what value makes that mathematical sentence correct. So if I have a sentence of 3x plus 2 is equal to 8, and I am told, or I need to figure out what will make that be true. Okay, so this is where I'm going to solve for this x. Okay, so the solution is what makes it true. What makes it true? Okay, so what makes it true? So the next part is, next definition is going to be solving an equation. That's just the process where you figure out what the variable is. So it's the process. Okay, that's going to be the process we're going to go through to figure out the answer to our operations. The next term here that you see is going to be inverse operations. Okay, whenever we talk about solving an algebraic expression, a linear equation, you're going to always do the inverse or the opposite of what the equation is asking you to in order to solve for your unknown. So in the case of x minus 5 is equal to 7, and we need to figure out what x is, the inverse operation is going to be to add. Okay? Because we're subtracting a negative 5, we're going to have to add it to both sides in order to solve for that x. Okay? Equivalent equations, this is going to be equations that have the same solution. Okay? Equations with same solution. And make sure that as you're following along with this, I'm not writing everything down word for word. So if you need to take extra time, feel free to pause this video and go back and flush out your definitions even more. Okay? So in order to solve for our linear equations, we have to do different properties. So there is the addition property. And that is stating that if you add the same number to both sides of the equation, the two sides remain equal. So the formal definition is if you add the same number to both sides, the equation or the sides, I'm going to say the sides remain equal. Okay? The same can be for the subtractive property. Okay, so it's same as addition, but with subtraction. Okay, so that's saying that if you subtract the same number from both sides, then your statement stays exactly the same. Okay? So why don't we go ahead and, I've printed on both sides of my sheets, but I'm going to go ahead and turn it over. Let's go ahead and take a look at a few of these examples. I'm only going to do a few of these for you such that you can then continue to work on them later on. If you have questions, remember to feel free and email me. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a quick look at this first one. It has the equation 25 is equal to y minus 14. So we need to know what we can do, what value y will be to make this be true. Okay? So if I have 25 is equal to y minus 14, I am going to use the addition property to solve for that y, which means I'm going to add 14 to both sides. Because I added the same number to both sides, nothing has changed. It's still equal. Negative 14 plus a 14 goes to 0, so I'm left with just my y. And my y is then equal to 25 plus 14, which is going to give me 39. So if my y is equal to 39, that will make this entire statement true. Okay? So let's go ahead and take another look at another one. We're going to go ahead and look at this one right here. The x minus a negative 8. Okay? If you think back to your distributive properties, remember we have to take care of our signs before we do anything else. Okay? We have our parentheses here. Remember, this is the same as if you have x minus 1 times a negative 8 is equal to 15. Okay? Because we have parentheses, we're going to have to distribute the negative 1. Negative 1 times a negative 8 gives me an x plus 8, which is equal to 15. I am now going to apply the subtractive property to solve for this x. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 8 from both sides. Because I've done the same thing to both sides, it works out. So positive 8 minus 8 leaves me with an x is equal to 15 minus 8 is going to give me a 7. So my solution for x is 7. All right, so you all may continue to practice these. Remember, if you have any questions, to feel free to reach out. Have a good day.